And next we have Brightblade, a LitRPG adventure, UnderVerse book number 1 by Jez Kajio. It is 465 pages. It is $4.99. It is available on Kindle Unlimited. Here's the author's description. A realm assigned from our own is the center of the realities, home to every spectrum of magic, from the beautiful to the terrible. It was all held in delicate balance by the eternal emperor and his children. For 10,000 years, the empire was the bastion that protected the sentient races from the darkness. But the revolution changed all that. Jack is just a regular guy. He has a crappy job and a good thing with a girl. The problem is, he also has a bit of a messy past. So when he's offered the chance to do a little job instead of jail time, he jumps at it. Jail would have been the better choice. Welcome to the UnderVerse. Please keep your limbs inside the card at all times. The creatures of the night are forever hungry. So this is a dark fantasy containing sexual references, violence, and swearing. There is no actual sex in this story, though, so don't have to worry about that. There's kind of a few thirsty characters. This is an action-filled fantasy LitRPG story that feels like a bit like an online serial that put on all the major hits of the genre. It has fight tournaments. It has a base building. It has transported to an RPG game world, crafting, and a thirsty fairy companion. The big draw is going to be all the action in the story. That's really is kind of the big thing. Like, there's hardly a chapter in this novel without some good fighting, essentially. And whether it's survival training, or it's like combat training, or it's living and tournament fighting, or monster fighting while killing his base, like action is the thing for the story. All the RPG stuff does exist in the novel. There's character sheets, skill sheets, magic stats. The main character has a spell sword class and uses magic weapons. But like the first quarter about quarter to 30% of the novel, all those game mechanic stuff, it's a little more pushed to the background. And that's just because that's just the setup of the novel before he actually gets to the actual full-on RPG world. But it's still enjoyable, and they still exist as like things. But again, it's a little more muted. But after the 2% mark, bam, just huge amounts of character development, build theory, base building stuff, crafting quests, notifications galore, all kinds of really good stuff there. Overall, it's a fun story, fun action story specifically. Lots of fights, lots of RPG aggression after a certain point. And a lot of people really enjoyed it. I'm one of them. Gets a score of 7.6 out of 10. That is Brightblade, a LitRPG adventure, UnderVerse book number 1 with a score of 7.6 out of 10.